Welcome back to Rise and Thrive, the only YouTube series designed specifically for professional Black women who are done playing small and ready to lead with power, strategy, and unapologetic excellence. I'm Shay Blackman, author, HR strategist, and founder of Shay Blackman Consulting. And if this is your first time here, I want you to know you landed exactly where you need to be. Every Wednesday, we go deep. Not surface level, not motivational posters. Deep, strategic, real talk conversations rooted in the 10 chapters of my book, Rise and Thrive, a Black woman's blueprint for leadership excellence. Today is episode 80, and we are in chapter 10, which is fitting because chapter 10 is the chapter that takes everything we've discussed across this entire series and turns it into a plan of action. The title of this chapter is Your 90-Day Action Plan, and I want to open with the quote that anchors it, a line attributed to Malcolm X and often cited by Maya Angelou herself. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Sit with that for a second, because here's what I find fascinating about that quote. It's deceptively simple. Of course, the future belongs to those who prepare, but the critical word is today. Not when things calm down, not after the next reorg, not when you finally feel ready. Today. And in this professional landscape right now, with DEI rollbacks making headlines, workplace culture under siege, and Black women continuing to be the most educated and least promoted group in corporate America, preparation isn't just strategic, it's survival, it's resistance, it's power. Today, we are building your 90-day blueprint, and not just some generic goal-setting exercise either. This is a customized, structured, accountability-backed approach designed for Black women navigating the specific terrain that comes with being us in these spaces. Let's get into it. So why 90 days? Why not 6 months? Why not a full year goal-setting cycle? Here's what we know from organizational behavior and what I've seen across more than 20 years of HR leadership. 90 days is the sweet spot between urgency and sustainability. It's long enough to produce meaningful results and short enough to maintain the kind of focused energy that actually drives change. In organizations, the first 90 days in any new role is considered the foundational window. Leaders are assessed on those 90 days. Promotions are tracked across 90-day performance cycles. Corporate transformation initiatives use 90-day sprints because they work. But here's the thing. Most career development frameworks aren't built with Black women in mind. They don't account for the additional navigation tax we pay every single day, the energy spent managing perception, the mental bandwidth consumed by microaggressions, the extra work of being first, only, or few in rooms that weren't designed for us. So Chapter 10 of Rise and Thrive doesn't just give you a 90-day template, it gives you a 90-day strategy that factors in your unique situation, your industry, your organizational culture, your specific challenges, and your strengths. And right now, in March of 2026, this matters even more. Many organizations that made ambitious DEI commitments in 2020 have quietly, or not so quietly, walked those commitments back. If you're waiting for your organization to build the runway for your advancement, you may be waiting a very long time. Your 90-day plan is your runway. You build it, you control it. The chapter opens with a powerful acknowledgement that transformation requires focused action. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. And that distinction is everything. Chapter 10 gives us the focus framework as the first major tool for building your 90-day plan. And I love this framework because it forces you to make choices, which is exactly what high-value leaders do. They prioritize. F stands for Foundation Assessment. Before you plan anything, you need to get honest about your current reality. What are your most pressing challenges? Where do you have the most influence? What resources, time, budget, access, support do you actually have available to you? And critically, Which relationships need immediate attention? Here's a scenario we see in organizations all the time. A high performing Black woman professional has delivered results for years, but her relationships with senior stakeholders are surface level at best. She hasn't been deliberately cultivating those relationships. She's been doing the work and expecting the work to speak for itself. And the work is excellent. But in most corporate environments, work alone rarely gets you promoted. It's work plus visibility plus relationships. Her foundation assessment reveals that relationships are her gap, and her 90-day plan needs to address that first. O is for opportunity identification. Where are the quick wins? What high leverage opportunities are within reach right now? And pay close attention to this one. Where are your skill gaps that are actually limiting your advancement? Not every skill gap matters equally. Your 90-day plan should target the ones that are directly connected to where you want to go. C is for critical path analysis. This is the project management mindset applied to your career. What must happen first? Which actions unlock other opportunities? In project management, we talk about dependencies, tasks that can't begin until another task is complete. Your career advancement has dependencies too. You can't effectively negotiate for a promotion without first building a documented track record of results. You can't activate a sponsor who doesn't know your name. Sequence matters. U is for urgency evaluation. Not everything is equally urgent. Which opportunities have actual deadlines? Is there a new project kicking off in the next 30 days where your visibility could be strategic? Is there an industry event or internal initiative that creates a natural opening? Urgency evaluation keeps you from treating all priorities equally when they're not. And S is for success alignment. This is the gut check. Before you commit to any action in your 90-day plan, ask yourself, does this actually advance my vision? Will it build the credibility I need? Can I sustain this effort beyond the 90-day window? And does it align with my organization's priorities in a way that gives me visibility with the right people? Here's your quick exercise right now. Pull out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Just answer these 3 foundation questions honestly. What is my single most pressing professional challenge right now? Where do I have the most influence in my current environment? And what is the one skill or relationship that, if developed, would unlock the most opportunity? That's your starting point. Everything else in your 90-day plan flows from there. I want to take a moment here and go historical with you, because Chapter 10 is deeply connected to a principle that Black women have practiced out of necessity for generations. Ida B. Wells, the journalist, anti-lynching activist, and co-founder of the NAACP, operated in a world that was literally hostile to her survival, let alone her success. And yet, she was one of the most strategically disciplined leaders of her era. What many people don't know about Ida B. Wells is that her entire investigative journalism campaign against lynching in America was essentially a masterclass in 90-day sprints. She didn't set out to change America overnight. She set out to document the truth, publish the data, build a coalition, and then leverage that coalition into the next phase by phase, sprint by sprint. She wrote in her autobiography, Crusade for Justice, and I'm paraphrasing here, that she learned early that she couldn't wait for someone to hand her a platform. She had to build her own. And she couldn't build her own without a plan, without targets, without measurement. Now, here's why that matters for us today. We often frame 90-day planning as a corporate tool, and it is, but it is also a legacy tool. Black women have always had to operate with precision because the margin for error was smaller and the cost of missteps was higher. Ida B. Wells knew that. Zora Neale Hurston knew that. She was writing and publishing and building cultural archives at a time when no institution was going to fund her work unless she made the case for its value. Lorraine Hansberry knew that. She strategically positioned A Raisin in the Sun to be undeniable at a time when Black theater was marginalized. Strategic planning is not a luxury. For Black women, it has always been a necessity. And what Chapter 10 does is give that necessity a framework and a name. One of the things I want you to walk away with today is a completely different relationship with measurement. Because in corporate spaces, Black women are often measured by standards that don't capture the full scope of what we contribute, and simultaneously, we tend to undercount our own achievements. Chapter 10 gives us the measure framework, and what I love about it is that it's comprehensive in a way that traditional performance management simply is not. M is for milestone markers, the concrete, tangible checkpoints. Meetings secured with key leaders, projects completed, new relationships established, skills demonstrably improved. These are your hard metrics. E is for engagement indicators. This is where it gets interesting. Are you getting invited to strategic meetings you weren't included in before? Are people coming to you informally to ask your input? Are you being tapped for mentorship opportunities? These are signals that your presence and your influence are growing, and they matter even when they don't show up on a performance review. A is for advancement signals, expanded responsibilities, stretch assignments being offered to you, a sponsor who is actively advocating on your behalf. Monitor these, document them, they are evidence. S is for systemic impact, and this one is unique to the measure framework in Rise and Thrive. Are you influencing policy changes? Are you advocating for and supporting other Black women in your organization? Are you addressing barriers, even incrementally? Your 90-day impact isn't just personal, it ripples outward. U is for understanding growth, the learning metrics, new competencies developed, political acumen improved, leadership capacity expanded. This matters because in fast-moving organizations, the leaders who advance are the ones who are continuously growing their strategic intelligence. R is for resilience indicators, and I want to spend just a moment here because this one gets overlooked. Are you maintaining healthy stress levels? Are your boundaries holding? Is your energy sustained over time, not just in sprint mode? Your well-being is a metric. Your joy is a metric. If you are achieving results but hemorrhaging your health to do it, that is not success. That is a sustainability crisis. And E is for external recognition, performance review improvements, peer acknowledgement, industry recognition. Document it all. Build what Chapter 10 calls your achievement portfolio. Here's a practical application. Start a digital or physical file this week, and I want you to label it your evidence file. Every positive email, every thank you message, every performance acknowledgement, every time someone asks for your input on something important, save it all. Because in the moments when corporate environments make you question your competence, and they will, that file is your anchor to truth. Having a plan without accountability is just a wish list. Chapter 10 is clear about this. And for Black women who often carry disproportionate burdens at work, at home, in community, structured accountability is not just helpful, it's essential for maintaining momentum. The commit accountability system breaks down like this. Your circle of support. Identify 2 to 3 accountability partners who are genuinely invested in your success. These are not just friends. These are strategic relationships with people who will ask you the hard questions and hold you to your commitments. Ownership documentation. Track your progress in writing. A weekly journal, a goal spreadsheet, an achievement portfolio. What gets documented gets done. Meeting rhythms. and this is the one people skip most often: a daily 10-minute self-reflection, a weekly check-in with your accountability partner, a bi-weekly mentor meeting, a monthly progress review. These rhythms transform your plan from aspiration to operation. Measurement protocols. Decide in advance what you're reviewing weekly versus monthly, how you'll document progress, and, critically, when you'll adjust your strategies. Flexibility within structure. Your plan should adapt as your environment changes. And time protection. This is non-negotiable. Block your calendar for your highest priority activities. Set boundaries around them. Delegate or decline low-value tasks that consume time and energy you need for high-impact work. As Bell Hooks reminds us in the book, accountability is the pathway to greatness. Not accountability as punishment or perfectionism, but accountability as support, as evidence that you take your own goals seriously enough to build systems around them. Here's what this looks like practically. There are companies where leadership teams have implemented 90-day accountability pods, small groups of 3 to 4 peers who meet bi-weekly to share their priority actions, report on progress, and help troubleshoot obstacles. The data on these pods is consistent. Participants achieve significantly more of their quarterly goals than those working without structured accountability. Not because the pod members have more talent, because they have more structure. You don't need an organization to authorize your accountability pod. You can build it. This week, 3 Black women leaders committed to each other's growth. That's it. That's the system. I want to be very deliberate about this section because Black women in corporate spaces are often conditioned to minimize our achievements, to stay humble, to not take up too much space, to let the work speak for itself and wait to be recognized. And Chapter 10 pushes back on that conditioning directly. Celebrating milestones isn't vanity. It's vital for sustaining momentum and building the confidence that fuels continued advancement. The Celebrate framework is built around 9 practices, and I want to walk through the ones I find most strategically powerful. Capture achievements. Document every win. Keep a success journal. Save positive emails. Record milestone dates, not as a performance of modesty or bragging, but as an accurate record of your impact. Expand recognition. Share achievements strategically. Update your LinkedIn. Inform your sponsor. Add accomplishments to your performance documentation before your review, not during it. Your sponsor cannot advocate for what they don't know about. Build on momentum. This is the piece that transforms celebration from a pause into a launch. When you complete a successful project, use that success to request the next stretch assignment. When you achieve a visibility milestone, pursue additional responsibility. Don't wait for the organization to tap you. Use your momentum to self-nominate. And amplify impact. Use your success to lift others. Share lessons learned. Mentor someone at an earlier stage of the journey. Create opportunities for the women coming behind you. This is what Rise and Thrive as a series is about. Your success doesn't exist in isolation. It creates pathways. It reshapes what's possible. Maya Angelou wrote and spoke often about the obligation of success, that when you learn, you teach. When you get, you give. The Celebrate framework is not just personal accountability, it is communal responsibility. As a practical exercise, right now, this week, I want you to do one thing. Write down 3 things you have accomplished in the last 30 days. 3 things: professional wins, personal milestones, anything where you showed up for yourself or for others. Write them down and then, and this is important, actually acknowledge them. Out loud if you can. Send the text to your accountability partner. Post it in your journal. Your wins are real whether or not anyone applauds them. Make sure you are the one keeping score. Let's bring this home with exactly how to start your 90-day plan today. Not next Monday, not after the next work sprint, today. Chapter 10 includes a full 8-part customized implementation plan in the book, and I highly encourage you to work through all of it. But for right now, I want you to start with just 3 questions. Question 1. What is the single highest impact action I could take in the next 2 weeks to advance my professional visibility or credibility? Not a list of 20 things, one thing. What is the action that, if you actually did it, would move the needle? Question 2. Who are my 2 accountability partners? Name them. Not hypothetically, specifically. Who in your life, in your professional circle or your personal community, will check in with you on this, challenge you when you're coasting, and celebrate you when you make progress? And question 3. How will I measure success at day 30, day 60, and day 90? What does good look like at each milestone? Be specific enough that you'll know when you've hit it. Those 3 questions are your launch pad. The full focus, measure, commit, and celebrate frameworks are in Chapter 10 of Rise and Thrive. And the book has a complete implementation workbook built right in. Tables, reflection prompts, everything you need to build a plan that is specific to your situation. Because here's what I want you to hold on to. Alice Walker wrote, and the book quotes her, "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." Your 90-day plan is a declaration that you not only have power, but are strategically wielding it for transformation. This is the chapter that ties the whole book together. Everything we've explored, your value proposition, navigating corporate culture, building your network, overcoming imposter syndrome, executive communication, negotiation, self-care as strategy, advancing through mentorship and sponsorship, and leading with legacy, it all activates through this plan. All right, we covered a lot of ground today, and I want to leave you with this. Chapter 10 ends with 5 principles that I want to give you as your closing charge. Shay Blackman, HR strategist and your guide every Wednesday, is asking you to write these down. Progress over perfection. Small, consistent actions create big changes. Flexibility within structure. Adapt your plan while maintaining your direction. Community over isolation. Your support system amplifies your efforts. Celebration as fuel. Acknowledging progress sustains momentum. Legacy in process. Your transformation creates pathways for others. Move with intention. Measure with wisdom. Celebrate with joy. Transform with purpose. That is how we rise. That is how we thrive. Now, your homework this week. Grab a copy of Rise and Thrive if you haven't already, turn to Chapter 10, and start filling in your customized implementation plan. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you know today. And if you want a resilience companion for your 90-day journey, I have a free resource for you. The Shield Resilience Strategy Guide was built specifically for Black women navigating corporate challenges. It covers self-awareness, healthy coping, internal resources, external support, learning orientation, and daily practices. It is a powerful complement to everything we discussed today. The link is in the show notes. Go grab it. And if you're a Black woman professional or an organization looking for fractional HR support, culture transformation consulting, or leadership development, visit the website in the show notes and let's have a conversation about what that looks like. Before I go, drop a comment below. What is the single highest impact action you are committing to in the next 30 days? I read every comment, and your answer just might become the focus of an upcoming Ask Shay deep dive. If this episode added value, please like, share with the Black woman leader in your circle who needs to hear this, and subscribe so you don't miss a single Wednesday. I'm Shay Blackman. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next Wednesday.